welcome back to my channel, Becoming Tabitha Ford. I am going to be talking today about how I'm going to be preparing for my third birth. I am 26 weeks and 2 days pregnant today, so I am due June 8th. And this is going to be my third birth. And so with my first birth, I had a plan of going no epidural, and I was induced, and I just didn't work out. But I did have a great birth. I just didn't get to go without the epidural. With my second birth, I went into it with a very different mindset, and I was able to successfully have a induction and have a birth without having an epidural. So that was really big because I've always heard that it's so much harder with being induced, but because I have a high risk pregnancy, I have been induced with all my pregnancies. But this pregnancy, I am choosing not to be induced and just going to stick with monitoring of the baby until I give birth. And so that is going to be a huge game changer. And I think one of the things as I'm preparing for this natural birth that I need to let my mind also let go of is that I've never gone into labor naturally. Both the times that I went to get induced, I was like 0 centimeters dilated, 0% effaced, and then the second time I was 0 centimeters dilated, or 1 centimeter dilated, and still very, very slow. So my body has never gone into labor without having like induction medicine. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to be working on mentally as the next 14 weeks go on. I wanted to share how I'm preparing for this birth without an epidural. And you can call it a natural birth, you can call it whatever you want, but I want to go into this birth prepared to not get an epidural, and I want my body to kind of go through everything naturally without any type of medication. So I am going to be giving birth at a birth center. That is one big difference that I'm doing this time. And then we're gonna have doulas and a midwife. With my last 2 births, I did have midwives. So that's not anything different. But in terms of like overall prep, what I'm doing right now, I'm 26 weeks, so there's not a ton that you can do right now. However, I've been focusing on exercising, and so I go to the gym 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and I have been working on strength training, cardio, just kind of cardiovascular on the treadmill for 10 minutes. I'm actually going to up that to about 20 minutes, and I walk on an incline, so 3 incline, 3 speed, and that's my start. And I do that for 10 minutes, going to change that to 20 minutes. And then I do strength training after that. So I did strength training prior to getting pregnant, and so that's just something that I wanted to continue. And so I have just been strength training. I'm actually doing the pregnancy app. It's like by Nancy. I don't know, I'll share it. I'll share a little screenshot of it. And that's just kind of what I'm following. And I'm following right now the pregnancy workout for athletes, for expecting athletes or something like that. I wouldn't consider myself a complete athlete. I was at one point in my time, but the workouts are great. And so that's the workouts that I've been doing. And then I've incorporated a lot of like hip mobility. So, and just like overall opening of the pelvis, strengthening kind of some my glutes, that type of thing, making sure I'm doing lunges, making sure I'm doing squats, and a lot of like 90-90s, overall just like hip mobility. And I actually broke the neck of my femur in 2019, and so I have screws in my hip right here that's fusing everything together right at my hip. And so that sometimes I have a little bit of pain with that, and so that's something that I want to be aware of. There's no complications with either of my pregnancies because of it, so that is great, but just want to make sure that I'm continuing to work on my hips, especially throughout pregnancy. So back to my notes, and then I am going to start at 32 weeks is kind of when I'm going to change some things up, I would say. I haven't been going to the chiropractor every week or like consistently. I have gone to the chiropractor I think 3 times in this pregnancy, but at 32 weeks I'm going to start going to the chiropractor weekly just to make sure that my pelvis is aligned and I do get sometimes some lower back pain. And so whenever I have that alignment from the chiropractor, that has always helped me in the past. And so going to definitely start going to the chiropractor here at 32 weeks. I'm going to start eating dates. So I don't like dates alone, but I do like making this like date concoction of like dates, nuts, honey, and that's practically it. But it's like a granola bar and I can eat it. I literally down it. It is so, so good. So I actually bought some dates the other day, but going to do that at 32 weeks. And then I'll start doing red raspberry leaf tea at 32 weeks. I don't really love like making tea every single day, so I wish I could find something that I could like brew and then like have it for the week or something. Probably not gonna be as like, anyways, if you guys have any great options for red raspberry leaf tea, let me know. All that I'm doing is something that like, it's not following a certain plan. It's literally, I've read so many different things and this is what I've decided it's gonna work for me. I've taken a birth class, multiple birth classes with my first 2 pregnancies, and then I'm sure I'll take one through the birth center, but that'll just be mainly like for laboring and like how to labor with them. I think that's the goal. But then at 35 weeks, I'm gonna also change a few things up. So I'm gonna stop the red raspberry leaf tea and I'm going to start taking the Mountain Meadow Herbs Gentle Birth Prep. It is like a little supplement, essentially, a liquid supplement that you drink in some juice or some water, and you drink it every day starting at 35 weeks. I'm gonna take the one without the blue something in it, blue ganoush or something, I don't know, without it in it, just because there's not a lot of information on that. So I'm gonna start taking that at 35 weeks. And then one other thing that is that I'm going to do, and that I told my husband I'm gonna do, and I got this idea actually from like a friend at church that was like reading this book, and it was not even related to pregnancy. But for the month of May, we are going to have sex every single day. And the goal of that is to prepare my cervix naturally. The same way you get the baby out is the same way you get the baby in. So we're gonna do that every day of the month of May. And I know I'm gonna be large, but the thing is, we're gonna try it. I think it'll be a good challenge for my husband and I. And then also, it's gonna be great for the cervix. So anyways, hang with me there. And then I'm going to start doing the Christian hypnobirthing, listening to that nightly. So with my second birth, I feel like the reason why I was able to give birth naturally was because of the Christian hypnobirthing app. Man, that thing, like, they are just telling you constant affirmations and affirmations. I listen to that thing the entire time. It's more soothing than my husband talking to me. I think that's why I literally was able to give a natural birth. And so that is something that I'm going to listen to every night and then plan on having that being played during my birth. And then, so that's kind of the main things that I'm going to switch at 35 weeks. And then when it comes to, I'll still be working out. My goal is to work out the entire pregnancy. I don't think I'll change anything up, honestly, in terms of like what I'm working out. If my back hurts, I just will like do different positions in terms of my workout, but I'm going to try to strength train and keep that same schedule throughout the entire pregnancy. At 39 weeks, if I make it that far, hopefully. I mean, I'm sure I will, but if I didn't, that'd be great. At 39 weeks, I am going to get an induction massage. So I got this last time with my second daughter. I don't think it did much for me then, but I think that if I go into it with a different mindset and just kind of be ready to prep my body and then maybe do another one after, like a few days after, that will be better. And I'm gonna try go to a different place that does them. So I am going to do that at 39 weeks and then continue everything else that I've been doing. And so I think the goal to a natural birth is you have to go in like with the mindset, and my friend told me this and she's had multiple births naturally, that like I am not getting an epidural. So you cannot go in like, oh, maybe I won't, maybe I will. that's what I did with my first one. And I was so disappointed because I got an epidural when I was like 2 centimeters dilated. I had granted my water broke, and then I was having crazy back labor. It was just insane. And so I got an epidural super early, and I still had a great birth. So I believe you can have a great birth with an epidural. But with the mindset of really wanting like this natural birth without an epidural, you have to go in knowing like, I am not getting this epidural, and that's your only option. And I told this to my husband, and he knew, but there was also a point in my second birth that I was like, I need the epidural, I need it, I'm done. And we actually have both my birth stories. I'll tag them below, but I have both of them there. And so at that point I was like, I need the epidural, and they called the epidural team. Little did I know, I was in the transition phase. So I went from a 7 to a 10, and that baby came out 7 minutes later. So I never got the epidural, but I asked for it. And I think that was one part that I wasn't aware of like, when you hit that point of like, I cannot do this anymore, that's the turning point. And so now, knowing that, in this next pregnancy or birth, I am going to be very much aware of that. Of when I hit that point, that means baby's coming. And so I pushed for 30 minutes with my first, and I pushed for 7 with my second. And I gave birth in a lunge in my first one, and I gave birth in all 4s to my second one. I'm not sure what position I would love to give birth this time. I do have access to a bath this time, and I did not have access to a hydrotherapy the second labor. I was not able to get in the bath with either of them. And so anyways, if you want a labor and you want to give birth without an epidural, I think the main thing is make sure you have a plan to prep. Make sure you're doing the right things for your body. Make sure that your hips are aligned, that you're doing some mobility work, and that you prepare your mind. And I think that's one thing with the Christian hypnobirthing that really helped me and just changed how my perspective of my birth was, and just my body, and how everything is meant to happen. And so anyways, super excited to kind of share more as I go on this journey, and I'll put in some clips of my workout, things like that. But anyways, any questions, let me know. Any tips, let me know. I love all the tips, love to read different things. And then I'll tag my birth stories and the things that I've talked about in the bottom down below. And if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.